Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Okay. So now we have 19 participants. No, 18 because I use 2 devices. So let me check. Supposedly we have we should have 29 something, right? So do you have a class this morning? Just now? Oh, okay. So is it physical or online?
Physical.
Okay, so that's why I can see that most of you are using mobile. Okay. 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 All right. So I don't want to delay more because it's already 10:08 in the morning. So what I can wait maybe 5 minutes. All right, 5 to 10 minutes lah actually. All right. So today, okay, we will start learn topic 2, which is the important topic after the introduction of software engineering. This is the topic that you will have your test 1 later on. Okay, remember if you check in your SOW, okay, software process will be included in your test 1. Okay, so you should understand more on the topic, this topic lah, because this will be a part of your assessment, right? Anyhow, you should understand the whole topic overall. All right, so as I mentioned before, okay, we will start with your video, your friends presentations, sharing topics with topic 2, maximum 50 minutes or less, okay, but your friends did utilize all the times, which is 14, almost 15 minutes lah. Okay, so focus on your friends' presentations, okay, because after that we will have a short quiz, okay, and then I will ask your level of understanding, and then I will continue my lecture. Are you ready, guys? Okay. Alright, thank you for the response. Never mind, if you couldn't turn on your mic, you can always use use the chat or icon, okay, so that I know that you are listening to me, you are engaged with me, okay, and that should be right. Okay, thank you. Okay, so without further ado, let me share the video first. Okay, those group C1, okay, who did this video, I will actually like to see you guys on camera, okay, because your friends should be aware that who are doing this video instead of you already have your face in the video, right? So will be better actually if can those do a sharing, you can turn on your camera so that your friends know that this is from which group who did this video, right? Okay. Okay, let me check that. Okay, I already put in the recording mode. Right, can you see my screen now? Actually,
Yes.
that's good. Actually, I also do a checking. That's why I open 2 devices. Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay. Okay. Let me change the sound first. And then stop first because I should change the audio to the music mode so that you can hear the video sound better. Alright.
Assalamualaikum and hi. Today we are going to explain about the software processes in software engineering. The outcome for this topic is first to introduce the software process model. Second is to describe and explain about the three generic process model, which is the waterfall, the evolutionary, and the integration and configuration. Lastly, it is to describe the outline process model for requirement engineering, software development, testing, and evolution. So, I will start with build and fix method. It is the simplest model of software development, but the problem is there is no specification and design. The meaning by this is it really difficult to maintain as it doesn't have specification and design document. Next, it is totally unsatisfactory approach for product of reasonable size. Software process. Software process is a structured set of activities that is required to develop a software system. As you can see, there is 6 processes in order to develop a software system. Firstly, analysis or specification. Second, design for design and implementation. Third, development for design and implementation as well. Fourth, testing for verification and validation. Fifth, deployment is for evolution. And lastly, maintenance for evolution as well.
Next, I will explain about the SDLC phases. SDLC stands for System Development Lifecycle, and there are 6 phases here, which are specification, design, implementation, verification, validation, and evolution. Specification is an explicit set of requirements of a material, design, product, or service, where design is the creation of a plan, idea, model, or convention for the construction of a system. Implementation is where the system has started execution. Verification is similar to testing phases, which are the act of reviewing and inspecting in order to establish and document that a product, service, or a system meets regulatory or technical standards. Validation is the checking process to make sure that the software system meets specification and fulfill its intended purpose. Evolution is the deployment and maintenance.
Next is what is a software process model. It is a simplified representation of a software process presented from a specific perspective. This process required to develop a software system. So what is the example? Example of process perspective are: number 1, workflow perspective. Sequence of activities. To define what the system should do to end system or users. Number 2, data flow perspective. Information flow. It is to make sure to satisfy what customer wants or customer needs. Number 3, role or action perspective. Who does what? It is to make sure every role knows what is their objective to achieve this software system. So, here's the 3 types of generic software models, which is first, waterfall, which is a plan-based model. It separates and distinct phases of specification and development. Second is evolutionary or iteration model. For this one, the specification, development, and validation are interleaved. The last one is integration and configuration. The system is assembled from existing components, which means it reusing pre-existing components into a new software system wherever possible. Moving on, I will show the example of software process model. Firstly, we will start with waterfall. Waterfall have 3 kinds of model. Firstly, waterfall model. Second, rapid prototyping model. Third, V model. Moving on to evolutionary process model. Firstly, increment model. Second, extreme programming or known as XP model. Third, rational unified process or known as RUP model. And lastly, from the evolutionary process model is spiral model. Other process is known as integration and configuration, CBSE model. And the other process model is former model. And lastly, 4th generation technique, 4GT model.
Moving on to the next slide, this is the waterfall model phases. It started with requirements definition, and it goes to system and software design, and then implementation and unit testing phase, and then integration and system testing, and the last one is operation and maintenance. This advantage of these model phases is that one phase has to be completed before moving on to the next phase.
Next is waterfall model problems. Besides their advantage, every system has cons that we need to know so that we can overcome or avoid it. First, the flexible partitioning of the project into distinct stages make it difficult to respond to changing customer requirements. Therefore, this model is only appropriate when the requirements are well understood and change will be fairly limited during the design process. Only few business systems have stable requirements. Mostly, a business need organized planning, but this will take a long time. So that the waterfall model is mostly used for large system engineering projects, where a system is developed at several sites.
For evolutionary development, there are two things that we should know. First one is exploratory development. The objective is to work with customers and to evolve a final system from an initial outline specification. It should start with well understood requirement and add new features as proposed by the customers. Secondly is throwaway prototyping. The main objective here is to understand the system requirement. It should start with poorly understood requirement to clarify what is really needed. As suggested by the name, throwaway prototypes are disposable. Once an idea has been tested, the prototype is typically discarded, and the learnings are incorporated into the next version of the design or in the final product.
Moving on, next I will explain about the problem and applicability of evolutionary development. Firstly, for the problem, it has lack of process visibility. Second, systems are often poorly structured. Third, special skills may be required, for example, in languages for rapid prototyping. Next, for applicability, firstly, for small or medium-sized interactive system. Second, for part of large systems, for example, the user interface. And lastly, for short lifetime system.
Process iteration. Iteration, where earlier phases that are modified, is always a part of the process for large system because system requirements always change throughout the duration of a project. Iteration can be applied to any of the generic process models. Incremental delivery and also spiral development is two approaches that related to iteration.
Next, incremental delivery. The development and delivery is broken down into increments, with each increment delivering part of a required functionality. It means that they deliver it in small packets of end-to-end functionality. User requirements are prioritized, and the highest priority requirements are included in early increments. The requirements are frozen too. The requirements for later increments can continue to evolve. Next. This is the incremental delivery cycle. First, we need to define outline requirements. Then, we can go to the next stage, assign requirement to increments. Then, design system architecture, label the system increment. Then, we can validate increment, integrate, and validate again, and deploy. And here, we can see if the system is incomplete, we need to go back to develop system increment, and the cycle will repeat until the system is complete so that it can produce the final system. For real-life example incremental delivery, I can give one example. It is Cadbury. It was developed by John Cadbury in 1824. The fact Cadbury is a brand with a great example of a company that has used incremental innovation to stay ahead the competition because they're always developing new flavors. The brand has also created new formats. For example, the popular chocolate bar is now available as a chocolate and snacking bag. All drinks. By using an incremental approach to innovation, Cadbury has been able to open up additional source of revenue.
For extreme programming, it is actually an approach to development based on the development and delivery of very small increment of functionality. It relies on constant code improvement, user involvement in the development team, and pairwise programming.
Next, I will explain about the spiral development. Spiral development is a process that is represented as a spiral rather than a sequence of activities with backtracking. Each loop in the spiral represents a phase in the process. No fixed phases such as specification or design. For example, loops in the spiral are chosen depending on what it is required. And lastly, risks are accurately assessed and resolved throughout the process. This means that every risk that happened, it needed to solve before the next process begin.
Spiral model sectors. There's 4 quadrants here, and the first quadrant is objective setting. During the first quadrant, it is needed to identify the objective of the phase and need to examine the risks associated with this objective. The second quadrant is risk assessment and reduction. A detailed analysis is carried out for each identified project risk. Steps are taken to reduce the risk. For example, if the requirement is inappropriate, a prototype system may be developed. The third quadrant is development and validation. A development model for the system is chosen, which can be any of the generic models. The last quadrant is planning. The project is reviewed and the next iteration around spiral is planned.
Next is Rational Unified Process RUP. It is a modern process model derived from the work on the UML and associated process, normally described from 3 perspectives. 1. A dynamic perspective that shows phase over time. 2. A static perspective that shows process activities. Number 3. A practice perspective that suggests good practice. So this is the table of iterations of the phases. So here, it has inspection, enumeration, construction, and transition.
There are 6 rational unified processes, RUP, good practice that we should know. First is to develop software iteratively. Second, to manage requirement. Third, to use component-based architecture. Fourth, visually model software. The fifth one, to verify software quality. And lastly, control changes to software.
Next, I will explain about the integration and configuration development. It based on the systematic reuse, where systems are integrated from the existing components, or known as commercial off-the-shelf COTS systems. Second, it has its own 4 process stages. Firstly, component analysis. Second, requirement modification. Third, system design reuse. And lastly, development and integration. This approach is becoming increasingly used as component standards have emerged.
Okay, now let's move on to the key points of this chapter. First, software processes are the activities involved in producing and evolving a software system. Second, software process models are abstract representation of these processes. Third, general activities are specification, design and implementation, validation and evolution. Fourth, generic process models describe the organization of software processes. Fifth, iterative process models describe the software process as a cycle of activities.
Requirements engineering is the process of developing a software specification. Next, design and implementation process transform the specification to an executable program. Next, validation involves checking that the system meets to its specification and user needs. Evolution is concerned with modifying the system after it is in use. And lastly, CAS technology supports software process activities.
That's the end of the software process topic. Thank you.
Okay, alright. Okay, thank you, Group C1. Okay, let me give the quiz link first. Okay, don't worry if you get the answer wrong. Okay, this is to check that you actually understand it. If you correct the basic things, should be fine. Okay, and to check that you focus on your friends' presentations, right? So don't ask your friends. Okay, just answer at your own. Okay, like I said, that this is not a part of your assessment, but this is good to check your basic knowledge after your friends sharing, right? Okay, check in the chat box. I shared the link. Okay, you may start doing your quiz. I give you about 10 minutes, okay, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, again for this chapter, you still need to put your name and matrix because last night, okay, I checked in the SIM system. Some of you still not yet registered, so I couldn't extract the name list. That's why you still need to key in. Okay. Why everyone did not register yet? Because in the list, only 4 students registered. Brian, Alif Daniel, and Ikmal. Only these 4. So I don't know what happened to others. Okay. So that's why I also check the registered group. Okay. We have 7 group, but actually I miss one group 4. I think that one missing group have not registered. Do we have group C4 here? Ada tak group C4? Because I check in the chat box, WhatsApp, there is no group C4. Or did I miss one of the group? Okay, I skip one group 4 and then I go to next C5, or because if I calculate the registered group based on all the students registered in the WhatsApp group. Oh, ada, right? Okay. So can you check that your group? Is it I already changed the group name with C4? Ada tak? Okay. Maybe because of my WhatsApp is not desktop WhatsApp is not updated. Dah tukar kan? Okay. Okay. Okay, normally after you registered the group, I will change it and I will check in the description the student name list. So now in my list, I miss one group. I think because my desktop WhatsApp, web-based WhatsApp. Never mind. That's good. Okay. I did not miss any one of you. So all group have been registered. That's the good thing. Okay. Okay, now we already have act response. Okay. Those done the quiz, okay, maybe you can take 5, okay, grab your drinks, kan? Or grab your snack, and while waiting others to complete the quiz, okay, because I also consider those might have issues on the internet, okay, that's why we wait around 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. Lupa lah pula. Okay. Betul. Fasting pula. Okay. Saya fasting ah. Sorry. Because normally I would say like that lah, take your coffee kan. Okay, but I forgot. Yes, fasting time. Okay, no coffee. You can take apa tu, toilet break. Okay. Okay, 12 response. Okay, 23. 24. 'Group, anyone from group C4, can you text something in your group WhatsApp? Because I'm doing a searching, I still couldn't find the group. You know lah, I have four subject. Okay, so each subject have more than 10 group, right? So I might miss the group. Can you say hi or just put the icon, okay, so that the group WhatsApp will appear. Okay, now already 25. We have 30 participants, all right? So let me wait 1 minute more. All right. Let me check if oh, okay, some of you are using 2 devices. That's why we have more participants here. That's using 2 devices. Okay. So anyone else have not done the quiz? Should I stop now or should I wait? All right. Can I stop accepting the response? Anyone have not done yet? Can I stop? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no objection, then I can stop. Boleh? Stop, eh? Okay. So check again in the chat box. I share another link, okay, which is your understanding level. Group those doing the sharing also need to do voting. Okay, so if you think that you understand that topic more than half, choose yes. If you think that your understanding is below than half, you can check half understand. And if you think that you don't know nothing, right, you can choose no. Okay, so don't worry about the understanding level. It's just to see that did you understand based on the sharing first. Okay, so because after this I will explain if you did not understand. So those group doing a presentation also need to do voting, because who knows that maybe you are doing your sharing but you also don't know. But I believe that you should be able to understand better from your friends because you have read and go through first. But it doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. Just I want to know the understand level for overall of the class. All right. Okay. I received 16 votes now. I will stop. We have about 30 participants or 20 something. If I reach 20 votes, it's already enough. Okay, to represent the majority, right? Yeah, something like that, because I don't want to wait too long. Okay, we have 19. I need one more vote. Okay, we have already 20 votes. Okay, so the result, most of you, which is 95%, maybe half, which is good. You get something from your friends sharing. Okay, and only 1%, okay, fully say yes, meaning that more than 50%. Okay, okay, that's fine. Meaning we can summarize that you get something from your friends sharing, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, none of you say no. Okay, actually I seen just now, but maybe he or she changed the voting. Okay, all right. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I think that this topic is quite easy and straightforward. Okay, wait, let me share the quiz answer first. Okay, so simple question, right? So you should be able to answer if you focus on your friend's presentation lah. Right, so Wait, let me check if you can see my screen. All right. Okay. So, okay, good. Most of you, which is 18, got full marks. But both questions are correct. Okay. And only 4 students get 1. And 3 wrong both answer, both question. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So let's look at the answer. First question, what is software process? Okay, so the answer is majority got correct. Activities involved in producing and evolving a software system. Okay, so in this course, okay, if you still remember the introduction of software engineering, so you will start the process of develop a software from gathering the requirement, and then you start design and develop the implementations, you do testing, verifications, and validations, and finally the evolution process, which is the maintenance part, right? So that's all the activities. Okay. So some of you put it support software process activities. It's not just a support, right? It's an activity, it's a process to develop a system or software. Okay. Others process transform the specification to an execute program. Yes, but that's not the best answer. Okay. Yes, you want to transform the specification or requirement to some program, which is either software or system, right? But it's more than that. It's more than that. That's why the best answer is the last one, activities that involve producing until evolving the software system, right? Question number 2. What is the 3 generic process model? Okay. So if you focus, I believe you can answer this one. So first is waterfall, the plan-based, okay? And then evolutionary, which is the iteration-based. And lastly, we have integration and configuration, which is component-based. Okay, so the answer is C, A, B, C, right? Okay. All right, so most of you actually get it correct. So the one who chose this one, throw away prototyping is an example, not the general process model. Okay. The second questions, incremental and extreme process, and also iterations is not the generic. Increment and extreme is an example. Okay, but iteration is to describe the evolution. Okay, evolution model. Last one, iteration is to describe the evolution. Okay, waterfall, yes. RUP is example from the evolution model. Okay, that's why the answer is C. Okay, senang kan? So kata orang Chinese, sap-sap-sui je ni soalan kan? Okay, never mind. Okay, let's go through topic 2, software process. Wait, let me share my screen first. So before that, okay, thank you for group C1 for the sharing sessions. Okay, I like the way you put your each member's faces in the video. Okay, that's the purpose, to see instead of you not turn on your camera. So people want to see who is the one who presenting, who do a sharing, right? But maybe you can add on putting a name. Yeah. Because that's why I asked you to turn on camera. So in Webex, you can see the name at the below part, right? So if the video just now also put the name, then I can mention who is who doing that part, right? So the overall good, okay, you have a good quality of a video, okay, sound and the image as well, okay. You have the intro, which is the summary what the topic 2 will be, and and then the last part is the key point. Key point actually the summary, okay. But try to change a little bit of the content. I mean that you just not change the design, right? Try to change the maybe the arrangement based on what you understand better. Okay, because I can see that it looks like the content from the lecture. Yes, I provide the content, but feel free to modify it. Okay, you can Google and putting some additional informations. Okay, you did put the example. Okay, okay. Thank you to share with that. Yeah, with your friends. Okay, so that's one of the example. Okay, from Cadbury, but try follow the content, meaning that we are talking about software and also system, right? Okay, that one, yes, we can just overall of the system. Okay, but if it's mentioned about the software, system software lah, kan, which is much more related, something like that. But I don't say that it's wrong. That's the real life situation that every development should have a process, right? We also can use any process. Okay, now again, this is SDLC, System Development Life Cycle. So it actually focusing on the development system or software. All right. Okay, guys, let's go through topic software process. Okay. Okay, because you are not ISE students, I believe that you are multimedia computing, right? So that's why you need to take this course, because when you talk about multimedia only, it's combination of the elements of animation, sound, audio, video, and so on, right? When you create a project, that's why your program name multimedia computing, you need to develop something, right? But I'm not sure in multimedia there is a model or process that you need to follow. Okay, but actually, okay, talking about the process or model, there is more than that. Actually, in multimedia also you have other model to be used. Okay, so put it simple way, any project, any research should have a process, right? So you cannot just hentam saja, tibai saja, right? So it should have a process, planning from phase to phase, what should do. Okay, so this is focusing on the software engineering. Okay, so actually I will tell you there is more than these three generic process that you can learn. Okay, that's why I said that this is a part of a model. Okay, actually in multimedia computing as well, you can add more process model, but not only specific of the model. Actually, each model, each process can be adapted or adopt to any project, any field. Okay, that's why your friend just now mentioned about Cadbury. Okay. Okay. Oh, another thing, if next group, if you can highlight or putting some important highlight in the important content, like what I did this one, you underline, you bold, but some of the friends using a pointer, which is good. So your friends can follow your sharing, right? Rather than you read, okay, try to explain based on what you understand better. Okay, because people can read your screen, right? Okay, but normal. That's why later on, if you do a project presentation, I will suggest you to put minimize word. Okay, so people want to see you, want to listen you. Okay, and if they want additional information, of course they can refer the slide, they can see the slide as well, right? Okay, so at the end of this topic, okay, you should be able to introduce to maybe not your friends, maybe to other friends who did not take this course. Okay, what is software process model? Okay, to describe the three generic process model. Okay, and why you choose it, when to use it, why to use it, and how to use it. Okay, and finally, to describe the outline process model from three generic. Okay, you have a few examples that you can have these phases. Okay, outline is the phases of the process model. Okay, so from gathering the requirement until the evolution. All right. Okay, So remember topic 1, we talk about the issues, why there is a lot of system fail, right? So that's why this slide, build and fix, talking about the issues in developing a system, a software, okay? So when we talk about a problem, okay, so the highest, or based on the research, the highest problem is talking about no specifications, meaning that there is no gathering requirement. You just use a template to develop what system you want. Okay, you ask your client what system you want, and then from one project done, you just take the template and you create another project. You don't do a requirement gathering. That's why it put no specification, no design. Okay, same thing. Okay, you just take it and use it. So no design specific for, of course, each problem have a different solution. Same goes, each users might need different system because everyone looks same, users, human, right? But everyone have different needs. This talking about the organization or your stakeholder or your client. Okay, so one company might different from one company, even though it have a same purpose. They want to develop e-commerce website, for example, but okay, maybe the product is different. So there is a need to identify the specification and the design. It may different. Okay, normally it's different. Okay, next, totally unsatisfied. This happen when you develop a system without your involvement of your users, your stakeholder. Okay, macam shop sendirilah. Okay, develop and then deliver. So your client, your stakeholder did not satisfy. This is not what I meant. I want the system to be act like that, something like that. Not satisfied. I don't really like the design, something like that. Unsatisfied in many terms. Okay. Last one, need life cycle model. Like I said that everything we do must have a plan, right? You cannot do something that just pop up in your mind, hentam saja. That's your intuition lah, kan? We know that any planning, any problem, any project should have plan, should have strategy. Okay, you should have strategy. Example. You take this course, multimedia computing, for example. So why you choose that course? You should analyze what you should will be in the future when you take this course. What you will learn. Of course, some of you might follow your friends, some of you might follow your parents, right? Okay, but return back to you. You may not satisfied with what you do. Inilah yang berlaku. Saya pun tak tahu apa yang course yang saya ambil. Saya main ikut je, kan? Because you don't know, you don't do a planning, you don't do a strategy. Okay, so you need to have a plan. Okay, so that you know what you do. Okay, so same goes your part 1, part 2, part 3 until part 6, right? Your final year. So the faculty have to do a planning for you. What subject you need to take, how many. So they have plan for you as well. Okay, so that's the real life. So talking about the software and also the system, also you need to have a strategy, a plan, or we call it here life cycle model. Okay, so it's actually behave like game plan, right? And in the game plan, of course, they have phases, step by step. Okay, so in life cycle development, normally we have these two, the deliverable and the milestone. Okay, so the deliverable from phase for phase on your development. Okay, for milestone, after you done, what's next? Okay, maintenance, or maybe you want to do evolutions of enhancement of the system. Okay, so looking at the image here, okay, build first version and then modify until the client is satisfied. So it goes iterate and iterate until the word is satisfaction, because this is to solve the second problem, right? And then after done, then only you go to the maintenance phase and retirement, something like that. Okay, so this is the overall why we should learn software engineering, and this is to summary the topic one before actually. Okay, so let's start with software process. Okay, what is software process? Again, okay, is an activity, a structure set, okay, a structure set of activities required to develop a software system. Okay, activities. So it's involved more than one activities, right? That's why it put set, structured, because it have a strategy and it have a plan, structured set. Okay, and normally when we talk about software process, you will go through this one: analyze, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. Okay, some of the content might use the other word, where you can see in the right side: specification, design, implementation, verification, validation, and evolution. But actually it's same. Okay, it's same. Okay, it's same meaning. Okay, so if you I think we have project management before, right? So in project management, you have another one more step, which is planning. Okay, you plan. After you plan, and then you start analyze, which is this is the focusing on development of the system. Okay, so analyze means to find the specifications or the requirement. Design and develop. Of course, you design first, then you develop, right? You don't develop automatically and you design after that. No, design first. Okay, macam blueprint lah. You design first. Okay, what it should be look like again, and then only you start develop. Okay, so this tool is implementation. You start develop. Okay, and then after you develop, of course, we want to make sure that this is the system that required by your stakeholder or client, or this is to solve the problem. You need to do testing. Okay, so testing is to do verify and validate, to make sure that fulfill the requirement, solve the solution. Okay, and after that, okay, after you deliver your product, okay, this is the deployment. Okay, you deliver your product. Okay, and after deliver, who knows? Maybe the company want to expand the business, or maybe the behavior of the company have been extended, right? Have other branch, or a lot of data being used, so it may evolutions. Okay, and sometimes actually before we use maintains, but maintains is only maintains the existing system, no change. Okay, but nowadays we know that technology is very fast. When the technology change, the platform change, maybe the behavior of the data. Okay, so you need to do evolution. So it's more than maintain. You want to add on more features, you want to expand the capacity. That's why we use the word evolution. Okay, so SDLC stand for System Development Life Cycle. Okay, so this is again the descriptions for each of the explanation before. Okay, so this is the analysis part, to find the specification. Okay, the specification phase is to get all the requirement, included the material, design, product, services. But in software system, normally is finding the features and function. Okay, this one, features, function, and then design. Okay, to create a plan, idea, like I said just now, a blueprint. Okay, actually design we have two types. Either a low fidelity or high fidelity. Low fidelity is you can sketch using a paper. Okay, you can make a storyboard. Okay, high fidelity is close to development. Okay, these two, okay, is to give you overview to start the development, which is the implementations. That's why implementation is the execution, the plan idea from the design. Okay, because when it involves the users, okay, after you design, before you develop, you might need to check that is that the specification meant by your stakeholder is like that. Then you sketch first, you ask your stakeholder to check, is it what you meant? Is it what we already been discussed? Is it what you already been list? Okay, check. Okay, oh, I think you miss one of the features. I think you need to put more, something like that, because they already seen the blueprint of the system. Okay, so if it confirm, then you can continue the development, which is the implementation lah. After that, implementation done. Okay, you cannot just simply say, okay, project done. You need to verify, validate it. This two is the testing part, right? So verify is the act of reviewing and inspecting in order to establish the document. This part is verify is mostly is to check the requirement list. Okay, from the requirement you will come up with the features and function, right? So this is to check the requirement. Okay, and validate. Okay, validate, checking that software system meet the specification. This is more than that. Okay, that's why sometimes this requirement have an adjustment. Maybe after they test it, they found out that, oh, I think you need to put another features or another features for approval. Tu lah kan macam tu. So that's why this is to check the satisfactions of the stakeholder or users or your client. Okay, so it's validate it. Okay, and after that, evolution, like I said, that deploy and maintenance. It can only maintain, but normally they more than maintain. Okay, but actually it's depend on the project. My experience when we develop a system of first biodiversity in Malaysia, okay, I'm is the coordinator, project manager. Okay, so I'm not who one. I'm not the one who developed the system because we have the money. Okay, so I'm only the one who manage the project. Okay, I'm translate from researcher needs to the system. Okay, so what the researcher want, what the researcher required, I translate it into the requirement specification, and I send the developer, because this one we outsource it. Okay, outsource, meaning that we choose a company to develop. Okay, so I will go through all this. Okay, so the specification is from the researcher. Okay, and then the vendor, we call it the vendor, who has been choose to develop the system. Okay, they give me the planning. Okay, from the specification it's changed to the blueprint lah. Okay, and then when they develop, but here from time to time I will monitor it, I will check it. Okay, and to verify this involve the researcher as well. Okay, because they will be use the system. The system is actually have two purpose. One, for the awareness, okay, for the awareness of public, okay, about biodiversity. Okay, another purpose is for researcher, okay, to researcher to use it when they go for field work. Okay, so when they go for field work, they need to check what kind of species or genus that they found in the forest lah. Okay, so if there is there's no a record in the database, then it is a new species. Very interesting. If they found new species, for example, orchid, new species, they can put, they are the one who found it. So at the last one, they can put their author name, who are given name to this species. Very interesting. Okay, and they can name it. Of course, they have a family group and then genus and species. The species name they can put your friend's name, your boss name. So I still remember lah, they put our boss name. Okay, like one something like that, and they put their name is in author name lah, which is very interesting. Okay, so when there is a new species, they need to come up with the new publications to inform to public that this is a new system being found. And they need to identify that these species are in category of danger or extinct. And we need to do also, this system is good for decision maker. After they found out that this species is actually endangered species, we will do conservation. Kenalah kita buat we call for the forest institutions, okay, to conserve the place. No one can go to that area because that species endangered, will change to extinct, right? So we need to conserve the area, something like that, which is very interesting. Okay, so what happened, our development project and our maintenance have separate contract, tender. Okay, because development itself, okay, it will very high cost lah, and the maintenance, like I said, it's not only maintain, it's more than maintain, evolutions. Okay, we ask for changing on the different platform, from web-based to applications, a lot of things. That's why it's put separate. So when you open your company later on, also can do same like that. Okay, if you put together your development and maintenance, you will suffer, because you know the term of customer always right, right? Do you agree the statement of customer always right? Agree that? Is it true? Customer always right? What do you think? Okay, check the chat box. Okay. Okay. Tak, sometimes yes. No. Okay. Yes, as a developer, as a company who sells something, of course you will say that no, that's not right. Customer is not always right. But actually, that statement is true. Okay, but other meaning. Customer always right, meaning that they always have a right. You know the right. Dia ada hak. Maksudnya right tu ialah hak, bukannya betul. Okay, hak. Dia ada hak. So dia ada hak untuk cakap dia suka ke, dia tak suka ke, dia nak improvement ke, dia ada hak. That's the right. Right hak, bukannya right betul. Okay, but of course sometimes they are not always right. Okay, but they have right. Actually they have right. They have right to say anything. Okay, but not the right betul tu lah kan. So you need to listen your customer, okay, because they are the one who pay, right? Okay, that's in the agreement. Okay, so that's why maintenance put separately. Okay, because we know that maintenance is more than maintain. That's why nowadays we use the word evolution. Okay. What is software process model? Okay, just now we already know the meaning of software process, right? A set, structured set of activities, right? So when we put a model after that, software process model, okay, model. Yeah. What is model mean? Anyone? Okay. What is model mean? You can turn on your mic, you can put the chat. Okay, I will read also in the chat box. Okay. Come on. I would like to have the engage interactive with you guys, like not only me are talking to myself, kan? Model is a guideline. Good, yes. Right. Like you know word model, right? Model. Catwalk kan, catwalk model. So actually you see something, right? Yeah, see something that model. It can be a guideline. It can be a visual of what it looks like, right? Model is a blueprint. Yes, also can. Contoh, yes, contoh. Prototype, prototype can be, but it's not exactly a prototype actually. Okay, you need to have a model first before you go for prototype actually. Dia macam ni lah macam contoh ataupun apa tadi, guideline. Guideline is the most correct word lah. Guide, okay. Guidance, guideline, okay. So here, okay, the definition of framework, yes, framework, framework boleh, framework. Imitate dia dah macam dia buat benda tu kan. Okay, a things used as an example to follow or imitate, can be, okay. Something, okay, something that as a guidance, okay. Bukan benda tu lagi actually, dia just macam itulah kita kata role model kan, you can see it, but actually is a framework, it's a model. So to define properly, okay, a simplified representations of a software process, okay, present from a specific perspective. Alright, so representative, okay, the other word is representative, okay, betul lah contoh apa semua, tapi apa kita nak cakap, boleh can use that word as well, okay, but actually dia macam satu blueprint, framework, macam mana saya kata, dia macam ni lah, simplified representation, okay, but on software process, okay, and is specific perspective, okay, that's why from requirement, okay, until the evolution. So example process perspective, we can say it workflow, okay, workflow, sequence activities, phases of the activities, okay. We can say data flow perspective, which is information flow, or else we can say role action perspective. This one yang macam model tadi lah, kan, role action, a person, kan, who does what, okay. Okay, so generic, okay, after you understand what is the word model, software process model, the model, so this is 3 generic software process, okay. Actually the content is based on the book they refer tau. If you go through internet or you refer other books, the content might be different. So this content is provided by the resource person. So I explain based on the content, but actually software process model is more than that, okay. So generic software, so we follow the syllabus lah, okay. So because sometimes later on we will do this software process model explore in the lab session, okay. You might find more than this, okay. So that's why I let you know early lah, this is based on the syllabus, okay. So generally, they put generally, okay, software process model can be categorized in these 3, okay. Plan-based, okay, waterfall, plan-based model, evolutionary iteration model, or integration and configurations, which is content-based software engineering, okay. So if you check in the explanations, okay, the waterfall plan-based is separate and distinct phase by phase, macam strategic lah, plan one by one, okay. Evolutionary, okay, the word evolution, kan, evolution, evolve. So actually it's iteration process. So meaning that it can goes back, goes fast, goes forward, goes backward, iterate until satisfied, okay. Integration and configuration is a content base, okay. That's why it put here, the system is assembled from existing component, okay. It contain a component base, okay, meaning that component by component, okay. The component, the system is there, but you want to modify based on component. Okay, so there are many variants of this model. Example, formal development where a waterfall-like process is used by this, but the specification is a formal specification that is refined through several stages. So they put here because, like I said, that if you Google it, okay, if you check different books, you have more than these three actually. But again, following our syllabus, we have 3 generic software process model, which is waterfall, plan-based, evolutionary iteration, and integration and configuration, component-based software engineering. Okay. All right. So we know that we have 3 generic. Okay. So each 3, okay, have different model or example. Okay. So first software process model we call waterfall, the plan-based, right? The example, of course, the waterfall itself, rapid prototyping, V model. For evolution, okay, example in actually it's not example, types lah, types kan, jenis-jenis kan, types of a model inside the iteration. We have incremental, XP, RUP, and spiral. And last part, integration and configurations, because it's based on component, they don't have the name. Okay, it's a customization punya model. Okay, so that's why it's itself. Okay, dia tak ada nama. Okay, but these two, not only the listed here, you can have more than that. If you later on, if we go through the slide, you have more than evolution. Not only 1, 2, 3, 4 tau. Ada lagi another 3 dia add on. Okay. So I'm not sure why they didn't put here ni sekali kan. Okay. And not only that, okay, iteration is the most popular among industry. Okay. Why? Okay, why? Okay, because it's taking time and it's costly, but okay, it's the most useful. You will get involved users from all the process, beginning, current, and also after. So because if sometimes after you done the requirement, you go to the development process, design process, right? So maybe when you're doing a design, so you may find out that you need to gather more requirement. It can goes back to the requirement. Same goes if you already develop, okay? You need to change certain part. Maybe you direct go to requirement or you just turn to the design phase. So that's why iteration, it goes and goes until satisfied. However, for waterfall, it's just a plan base. Meaning that if you done requirement, you can, and then you continue to the design process, you cannot turn back to requirement. That's very risky, okay? Because we know nowadays users are different. Your generation, my generation might be different. Okay, so that's why, of course, before dulu-dulu, waterfall is famous because it looks like easy. You macam waterfall, tahu kan apa waterfall dalam bahasa Melayu? Air terjun, kan? One way only. So you cannot go back. Air terjun boleh ke patah balik belakang? Tak lah kan, ada bawah dia naik atas, yes lah kan. But waterfall is only one way. Okay, that's most developer think that easy, fast, right? But after deliver, your client, your stakeholder might not satisfied. So that's why this is the most popular one, iteration. Okay, of course, it taking time and cost, but satisfied. This is more percentage of software success. Okay. However, for this one, you can see the next slide saying that this is become popular, but it's depend on the case. Okay, if because this one is integration and configuration, you should have the fixed system, the good system. Then you can configure base component. Okay. So other than these three, right, I said that in this syllabus is focusing the 3 generic, right? But more than that, actually we have model. We can call it formal method, 4th generation technique. Nowadays, the very in one, UX model, gamification model. What else? A lot more. Emotion model. Okay. So this topic, like I said, that there is a lot of system software system process model, a lot of model. Okay. So you need to identify which one is the best for your project. For example, you are proposing ticketing system. Okay. Are the ticketing system best to use waterfall, or is it better to use evolution? Is it better to use integration? You need to identify, because I didn't actually everyone couldn't say that waterfall is the best, evolution is the best, CBS is the best. No, it's depend on the situations. Sometimes looking on the budget, sometimes looking on the cost. Okay, but again, in the project, yes, we should consider these two: budget, cost, budget, and also time. Kan? Because you have a limit on the project to focus on the project. But later on, when you do final year project, okay, avoid to use these two: cost and time. Why I say so? Because for me, I don't want to mention that I don't have time, I don't have money. It's for you to find the solutions for your project. Okay, that's why I don't really like if you mention that these two problem rather than others problem. Please do not use this as an excuse, because everyone have a same time, right? Satu semester, 2 semester sama saja, so you couldn't use that excuse lah. But of course, in the project, okay, you need to look into these two very crucially, because cost is involving budget, okay, time is involving your due date, right? Okay. So I don't want to explain in detail each of the model, okay, because like I said that everyone have different preference and purpose why you should choose that model. Put an example in our real life situation. We have a lot of pump station, Shell, BP, kan, Petron, Petronas. Okay, which one you prefer? Some of you might say that I prefer Petronas because I want to support local product. Okay, you have your own reason. Okay, some of your friends also, I choose lidah tu ya, Melayu lokal, makan belacan kan, makan petai, makan belacan. Okay, some of you might say that I prefer Shell because that's the most convenient and nearby to my area. They have their point, right? Okay, for me, I prefer Petron. Okay, because I believe that Petron have a better performance. So everyone have different purpose, different reason why they choose that that pump station. Okay, same goes with model. You have your own reason. Okay, maybe the project is suit for that model. Maybe because of the cost, because of the time. Okay, so later on in your project, you need to justify which model that you want to use and why. Okay, so I didn't put oh, it's wrong, you choose this one. Okay, you have your own justification. Okay, so that let's overally look waterfall. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phases. Okay, waterfall have 5 phases from the requirement, design, and then implementations and testing, and finally maintenance. 5 phases. Okay, and of course, each of the model have pro and cons, advantage and disadvantage. So here it puts a problem. Okay, what problem on waterfall? So if we look, waterfall is inflexible because the way it's designed, one way, not flexible. Okay, Therefore, this model is only appropriate when the requirements are well understood and changed. Okay, this is happen. Okay, when you do final year project later on, I choose waterfall because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I want to use this one because it's only easy one plan based, easy one way. You don't need to go back to your requirement. Okay, because of the time you sit. Okay, so actually, okay, why we choose waterfall is because the requirement is fixed. You have a complex requirement that covered all the generations, all the users is included. And because of the changing it's very limited, meaning that the system is already good enough. Okay, but you want to move to different platform, maybe, okay, different extent of the database, maybe. So the system is there. So yes, you can use waterfall because you only do once requirement to double check with the previous one, and then you can directly go your design and development process. However, I believe, okay, like I said, we have different different generations, different culture. Okay, that's why iteration is the best actually. In industry as well, they are focusing on iteration process lah. Few business system have stable requirement. See, very few, very little that business system stable requirement. They want to expand, they want to reduce or extend. It's not easily stable. That's why very few lah. What we can what company that we can say that very stable requirement? You have that system, you can use that system once in a life, or forever. You don't have to adjust your system. Can you give me one example? What is the company that nothing to be changed? Macam tu je lah dari dulu sampai sekarang. Any you can name it? Kalau saya nak fikir pun susah juga. Apa business or company yang did not change dulu sampai sekarang macam tu je. That's why you can have a stable requirement. Ada tak? Can you name it or can you give me example? Ada tak? Susah, right? Mami, kenapa dengan Mami? Dulu macam tu sampai sekarang macam tu ke? Do you think so? No. Actually, they extend. Dia tukar dia punya flavor, bertukar-tukar. Kenapa dia tukar flavor? Because they have a different focus user juga. So I don't think it's a stable requirement. So when you change the flavor, I believe your system as well have changed the features, right? You can choose different flavor. So your system might intelligently, identify the preference of the users, for example. I know why you say mami, because you tengok dari dulu sampai sekarang mami tu macam tu je, kan? Okay, sebenarnya dia ada more than that. Dia dah ada merchandise, dia still berubah sebenarnya, still berubah. Okay, so talking about the system, I don't think so. It will be a step. Ada contoh lain? So macam saya kata susah untuk name it. Okay, susah. Okay, that's why they put here also few. Okay, very little. The waterfall model is mostly used for large system engineering project where a system is developed at several sites. Okay, so ada branch banyak pun boleh guna sistem yang sama je. Susah lah, saya pun tak tahu apa nak cakap. Sistem apa? If you can name it, so I can say that yes, is it, or no, is it, kan? Something like that. But for me to give example pun memang susah nowadays, because we know that technology is changed. When we talk about the system, we talk about technology, kan? Even dulu manual, sekarang dah automation pun, there is a change as well, right? Okay. So very hard lah, very hard. Okay. So next, the second generic system, software system model. Okay, evolutionary development. Okay, see in this example, they give you exploratory development and throwaway prototyping. Okay, actually this is another example now. So exploratory development is the objective is to work with customer, okay, and to evolve final system. So dia pun macam iteration process. From the beginning, identify, develop, and then it can goes back to the requirement and until the satisfaction lah. Okay. Throwaway prototyping, the name throwaway means that you have more than one prototype. Okay, so first prototype, you show your users. So after comments, you do improvement or change. Second prototype, third prototype. That's why it's throwaway prototype. But it's good lah. But normally no lah. And normally it's not only one prototype, it's more than one. Kecuali hebat sangat kan, expert sangat dia boleh identify the requirement to once, then the users penuh dah, fulfill dah the requirement dia. Sometimes yes at the beginning kan, sebab dia tak ada overview lagi the system macam mana, sebab dulu dia pakai manual, sekarang dia kasi automatic, so dia kata oh okay this is the best one because they have not seen yet, they have not used yet in real situation. That's why the developer is not the one who do a testing. You should have the tester, and you should also ask your customer or your client to do a test. Okay, so again, every models have pro and cons, advantage and disadvantage, okay, which you need to identify, and this is the point for you to do a justification later on. Okay, so talking about evolution, okay, just now waterfall. Waterfall, we can put the fixed how many phases just now? 5 phases, right? Okay, but talking about evolution, okay, but that one is only waterfall. We don't go for the spiral lagi kan. Okay, evolution not fixed. Okay, you cannot say it have 3 process like this one. It's only have 3: specification, development, and validation. Sometimes different model. Okay, you can have 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the problem using evolutionary development is lack of process visibility because it goes and goes and goes, right? Systems are often poorly structured because sometimes it's written back to the first phase. Sometimes after you already been in third phase, you need to go back to the first or second and so on. Special skills, meaning that in the team have special skills that in language for rapid prototype may be required because you need of course you need a team that have a good skill because you are entertaining your users, right, to make it satisfied. Of course people mention that this is kind of problem, but this is the model that have turned out the result more satisfied, more success rather than the failure rate. Okay. Applicability for small or medium size interactive system. For part of large system, example the user interface, short lifetime system. Of course, there is a problem, but also it's have the pro one, applicability. Okay. So evolution, okay, is also is an iteration process. So system requirement always evolve, okay, in the course of project. So process iteration, that's why it's called iteration. It's evolve. That's why it's can go back, forward, backward. Okay, iteration can apply to any of the generic process model. Okay, 2 related process. This give you another example on incremental and spiral. Okay, so in incremental, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phase. Okay, so talking about the phase for evolution, its variety. Okay, its variety depend on the chosen specific model. Okay, another example for evolutionary, okay, extreme programming. Okay, approach small increment of function, relies on constant, and the process is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, different phases. 5. But if we can see that spiral mode, you have quarterly. It put in quarter 1, quarter 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so it will go back. This is to show the iteration process lah. Okay. Okay, this is the detail of spiral. Okay, RUP as well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 phases. Okay, that's why I don't want to go detail, because a lot of model that you need to read through, okay, and identify which is the best for your project, okay, later on. Okay, and again, look at the phases and also the problem, and also you can put additional to justify it, right? To justify it, the advantage of using that model. Okay. And last, generic software model, which is integration and configuration development. Okay, so it's based on the systematic reuse where systems are integrated from existing component. Okay, so the process phases 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 phase: component analysis, requirement modification, and then design, and then development and integration. Okay, so this approach is becoming increasingly used as component standard have emerged. And they say that increasingly used, okay, but this is based on the stability of the system lah. Okay, so this approach or model can be used, but look back at your system. Okay, just to change a certain component, because this is component based. Okay. All right. So all the process model, okay, you need to go through. Like I said, that it's not only that. Okay. For evolution, for example. Okay. For example, evolution and iteration. Okay. The industry currently are using Scrum, okay, and also agile, but the example is not in the slide, right? Okay, but later on when you do a searching, you will find this one, and it can be your model for your final year project as well. Okay. Okay. So key point or summary of this topic. Okay, so your friends did mention lah, go through one by one, right? That's why I would rather you make it as a summary. So this is to remind again, to do a summary that software process is the activities involved in producing and evolving software system. Okay, so general activities: specification, design, implement, validate, and evolution. Even though there is 3 phases, 4 phases, 5 phases, 6 phases, 7 phases, 8 phases, but if you look in detail, it's same thing: specification, design and implementation, validation, and evaluation. Just they put it as one specification, or you have modified specification. Design and development together or separately. Testing, either you want to do a verify, validate, or just validate like this one. But overall, it's same thing. That's why your early slide, okay, you have the general informations about the overall of software process. Okay. The 3 generic process model, okay, where you have a waterfall, evolutionary, and also component based or configuration and integration model. Okay. So talking about iteration is a circle activities. It will goes back or goes forward back. Okay, so it's a circle activities. And requirement engineering is the process of developing specifications. Again, sometimes they use the word requirement, sometimes they use word specification, right? But this is same thing, to find the requirement. Requirement is the specification. Okay, design and implementation, okay, to transform the specifications into the execute program, which is the construction of the software. Okay, and validation is the testing, okay, to check the specification of the user's need. Okay, the validation actually involved to the requirement and also the satisfaction from the users. and your users, client, stakeholder. Evolution is concerned with modifying. That's why before we call maintenance, but the word maintenance is no longer be used because we do more than maintenance. That's why it put evolution. Okay, and to inform everyone, okay, in project management, okay, you already did a video tutorial specific tools to manage a project, right? Okay, so we have another technology. We have CASE, okay, computer-based software that help you to your activities. Meaning that, example, get the requirement. You may get requirement using interview, survey, right? But case help you to analyze, to manage your requirement. Okay, design. Like I said that you have low fidelity and high fidelity. Computer help you, okay, to use a Figma to do a prototype. Talking about the development, you have a different platform. So CASE technology is kind of tools. Same project management tool. To draw a Gantt chart, you have a specific tool, right? So again, to manage all these phases, you can use the computer technology as well. So a lot of computer technology is based on the phase where you execute lah. Okay, done, finish. Okay, boleh faham? So talking about chapter 2, okay, let me do a brief summary. We have 5 components. First, talking about the issues, problem, unsatisfactory, and the needs of life cycle model, right? Second part, you've been introduced of SDLC, System Development Life Cycle, where normally we have analyzed design and development, testing, deploy, and maintenance. Or in other words, analysis means specifications, design and development means implementations, testing means verify and validations, and finally deploy and maintenance is evolution. Okay, third part, okay, the definition of system process model, which is representation guidelines, right? So system process model is representative, representations, simplify representation of a software process. Okay, and we can have a workflow, data flow, and also role action flow. Okay, section 4, okay, introduce you 3 generic model, okay, where you have waterfall, waterfall for plan based, evolutionary for iteration process, and lastly integration and configuration for component based. Okay, and the last part, the detail of phases of 3 generic. 3 generic, you have each one of it example. So you need to understand the phases and also the problem. So overall, it's talking about the advantage and disadvantage for each model to justify which one is the best for your project. I don't say the best model, but the best for your project. That's why you need to have a justifications in your project and also in your final year project later on lah. Okay. Okay, any question? Boleh faham? Senang tak? Tapi kalau the main point, macam yang your friends mention lah, at least you know, you understand what is software process model, which is a simplified representation, and the 3 generic model. Okay, we have waterfall, evolutionary, and integration and configuration. And last part is the phases for each of these example 3 generic model. That's the overall. Boleh faham? Ada soalan? Apa tadi yang last ni? Tiada lah doktor, apa yang tiada lah? Tiada soalan? Okay. So hopefully those yang kata half tadi, kan, you punya understanding level half, can move to more than half, right? Yes lah, yes. More than half is yes. Tak payah tukar, tak payah tukar. I just mentioned. You should now understand better than before. Yes, that's good thing. Increase 89. Thank you for the response. Okay. So what time now? 8:40, 45, huh? 11:45. Okay, just nice, right? So tomorrow is our lab, right? We will explore more model, not only the 3 generic. You can have more than that actually, but as I mentioned, because of we following our syllabus, so limited to these 3 generic, but not limit to the example given in the slide. I mean that in the slide, waterfall, and then they mentioned about the throwaway prototype, right? Incremental. You can explore more. Like I said, that especially iteration. Normally you will find Agile and also Scrum. Okay, that's the industry being used currently lah. Okay, so it's good for you to know because later on you will go for industry, right? Okay, and the last part is the integration and configuration. You might hardly to find this info because like I said that our syllabus is following a specific book. Okay, so you might not find more this one, but however, this is to make sure that you understand each of these model have pro and cons. So we need to explore, and hopefully I will review your proposal. Hopefully everyone already submitted your proposal. So before tomorrow, I try to finish review all the proposal, and if approved, you can find your model based on the approval project, because that's the next step that you will do for your project, right? So inilah dia tally kan, tally. Okay. Okay. If your project have been rejected, but we already have a brief explanation on the proposal right now, right? Before that, last week. So I believe that most of the project approved lah. Just add on some of the comment that can improve your project later on. That's only the comments lah. Okay. Overall, I think that's every project I did go through, and please discuss with me or and the group to continue your project later on. Okay. Okay. Maybe I think maybe sometimes I did not put the comments in the future tau. Sometimes I put the comment in your PDF and I written in the WhatsApp group sometimes lah. But because it takes time for me to upload kan, leceh kan. Selalunya saya terus saja interact with you in the WhatsApp group. Normally like that lah. Okay. So that's the 24/7 communications between you and me, right? So you can ask me anytime. Okay. If there is no questions, thank you everyone. I see you tomorrow for the lab sessions. Ada soalan tak? Tak ada? Tadi dah tanya kan? Okay. So I see you tomorrow guys. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you,
Hello,
Doctor.
thank you, Doctor.